Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is week 7, and we're going to be working with our counting and clapping. And this week we're going to combine the quarter notes and the eighth notes together. But before we get started, I want to show you a little trick that we can use to make reading and writing eighth notes, pairs of eighth notes, groups of eighth notes together a little bit easier. All right? So first off, let's talk about our eighth note. We know it has a note head, stem, and a flag. Well, let's say we have 2 of them. This one also has a note head, a stem, and a flag. Well, what if instead of having to write a flag for each one of those notes, we took those flags, pulled them together, and tied them together in the center? Sort of like this, right? It would look a little bit like that, except for we don't want to draw the knot either, all right? So when we write eighth notes in pairs, we'll do like we do up here. You see, we've got the 2 eighth notes, and the one flag is connected by one bead. And that's basically like we took this flag, we took that flag, pulled them together and tied a knot, and then just kind of erase the knot part. See? All right, so that is how we're going to write our eighth notes for most of the counting and clapping that we do. You need to remember that if they just a single eighth note will have a flag like that. You need to remember that. But for my class, the rest of the year, you're going to see your eighth notes tied together in groups of 2 the entire rest of the year, all right? So remember, don't be surprised when you get in the 4th and 5th grade and you start doing single eighth notes again, all right? Don't be surprised by that, all right? But just remember that this is really just 2 flags tied together to make one connected flag, all right? Just like that up here. All right, let's get this erased real quick so it doesn't confuse you. And we are going to go on with our counting and clapping for today. So let's take a look at this first note. Does it have a flag on it? No, it does not. So that makes it a quarter note. And a quarter note gets how many beats in full 4 time? 1 beat. So 1 plus 1 is 2, and that's where the next note is. Take a look at that. That is also a quarter note. And a quarter note gets how many beats? 1 beat. That is correct. So which means you add 1 to the number 2 and you get 3. And that's where our next note is. Now this note is not a quarter note. It's got a stem, it's got a note head, but this one also has a flag, right? Matter of fact, both of those notes have a flag, they share. So it shares 1 flag. That's just the way we write eighth notes now, all right? So an eighth note is worth half a beat, so it jumps to the half spot, and that's where the next one is, all right? And then it jumps to the next. If you add 3½ plus a half, you get 4, all right? Simple fractions. 3rd graders should be able to do this all day long. But this note on 4 is a quarter note. That's right, it's a quarter note. And it takes up the whole beat, and now we're finished. That's the end of the measure. Okay? So let's take a look at this. Do we clap on this one? Yes, it has a note above it. Do we clap on this tay? No, we do not. There's no note written up there, right? Remember, that quarter note goes the entire beat, and so we won't clap on the tay. Now, take a look at this too. Does it have a note above it? Yes, a quarter note, which means we're not going to clap on the tay. So let's take a look. Take a look at that tay. Does that tay have a note above it? Just like we said, quarter note means it's definitely not going to have a note above the tay, all right? Now, so we go on next to 3. Does 3 have a note above it? Yeah, so we would definitely clap there. But this is an eighth note. Because it's an eighth note, that means we have to clap on the next tay. So let's take a look. Oh, there it is. So take a look at that tay. Does it have a note above it? Clear as day. There's your note head. So do we clap on that tay? Yes. All right. And then let's move on to the next one, the 4. Does it have a note above it? Yes, it does. So we also clap there. Now, does this tay have a note above it? No, it does not. So we don't clap there. This one's a little tricky. On the other ones, we either clap, like when it was all eighth notes, we clap on everything. Or when it was all quarter notes, we only clap on the numbers. But on this one, you have to pay close attention. Sometimes you clap on the numbers and you don't clap on the tay. Sometimes you clap on the tay though. All right, so you have to read very carefully. If you guess, there are an infinite amount of wrong guesses you can make. And there's only one right guess you can make. So you have an infinite amount of chances to get it wrong and only 1 chance of getting it right. That's like having no chance at all. Don't guess, just read, all right? So remember, I'm going to clap by patting my leg like this, all right? And that way we can follow the stick, all right? So follow the stick with me, counting and clapping. Ready? Go. 1, tay, 2, tay, 3, tay, 4, tay, and then we stop. All right? So we should clap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That's it. All right? If you clap on any of these days, practice that again. Rewind it, practice again until you get it right. Because now I'm going to have you do it all by yourself. All right? I'll count with you, but you have to count and clap the rhythm that's on the board by yourself. All right? Here we go. Eyes up front. Nice and slow. Count with me. Ready? Go. 1, tay, 2, tay, 3, tay, 4, tay. And that's it. All right, did you get it right? If so, congratulations. You still might want to practice it a few times, all right? Because it gets even more complicated than this. But this is, but if you clap that right the first time, then that's a good thing. Pat yourself on the back. If you did not clap it right the first time, practice it. Do it a couple more times, and not till you can get it right, but until you can't get it wrong, okay? Because this is a really important skill that my second and third graders have to know before they move on to fourth and fifth grade and be able to start taking chorus and band and do the other things like that. All right, being able to count in our head and read the rhythms, all right? So practice it a few more times. There's nothing wrong if you didn't get it right. This is a brand new skill. It's only bad, it's only wrong if you don't practice it till you can get it right. So it's okay if you make mistakes. It is not okay to keep making the same mistakes. So practice it hard until you can get it. And that will be our big lesson for today. All right, enjoy the singing and the dance that we have when we finish, and you can clap this right by yourself. Have a great day. Goodbye.